Good evening. I think there's other people streaming and I just don't care because I wanted to stream because I wanted to do something. I got work to do. Work to do. But I've been not feeling so well on and off the last couple of days. And today I lounged in the house and did computery, papery, frickin' internet website work trying to make the website active. By the way, I have a website where I sell stuff. Not that there's a single person here watching because it says zero. But if you go back and watch this, if you go to tomllama.com, I sell stuff. And you know what? I will edit this. For unique. Uh, where's my brain? That's not right. All right. Save. Oops. I need to edit it. There's a comment. What's up, Vince? How is life? I'm trying to. I have no idea what I'm doing. Save. Show. Here we go. I sell stuff on my website. Let's see if I can sell anything. Vince, go buy something. No, don't go buy anything. You give me too much stuff. You sent me stuff. I'm gonna play in the garage tonight. Evening, both YouTube and Twitch. I don't know why I even fired up. I think it's auto habit to fire up the YouTube. View on Twitch. I gotta do all those social media BS links things. Copy. I think I actually set this up. Twitter. Yeah, no, that's not how you spell Twitter, but sure. I think it'll auto log in now like it's supposed to. Very slowly, but it will do it. Oh, come on. What are you doing? Why does it gotta do that? Stop graying out because you want to load ads. Let me do what I want and load the ads in the background. Okay, ads are loaded. And I don't care about the mega maga. I just don't care about any of it. I don't care about Keith Richards or Dan Snyder hire as a Bank American Explorer selling Commodore or Commanders. Whatever. I don't care. So, what was I doing? Oh, me fix my oopsie on my sander. Close enough. I don't care. Twitch. Posted on Twitter. What's up, curmudgeon? How is life? What is up, Mr. Galata? Actually, I got to talk to you about your thing, which we won't talk about because I know it's a gift and don't want. I don't know who it's for and I don't care. But I need to talk to you in person. But we'll do it another day, soon, before the weekend. Anyway, um, everybody go on to Twitch. I should put go on to Twitch, but I got my my tomllama.com thing going. Not that it matters. I really don't care tonight. I just don't care anymore. That's why it started up on. My brain is muddled. I've been like not right for like the last week. I've been getting these like and I want to say anxiety attack, but it's really not. I'll feel fine, and all of a sudden I will just like start sweating, and my head will start spinning, and I literally have to lay down and just do nothing. I can't think. My brain is just muddled, and it'll last like an hour or two, and then it takes me like 6 hours to like I'm just tired, like exhausted for like 6 hours after. Like I'm just, and it's been happening a lot lately. I'm wondering if I'm having a stroke. Not. First, I thought I had COVID. I did a couple tests, and it's not COVID. I think it's just the flu and the weather change, and we've had really, really weird weather here lately. Yep, crickets. You guys can hear the crickets? There's like two of them. They're not in this bay. They're in the next bay over. I can't find them. Little bastards. They're under the floor or something. But yeah, there's crickets. What are you talking about? There's no sound. All right. First thing I got to do is fix my sander. So you guys will get a kick out of this. And I actually sort of got it working again, but it's an easy. I mean, it's an easy fix. Oh, look, it's actually holding now. So the day before yesterday, it's actually kind of screwed up. Um, I was sanding away on a cutting board, charcuterie board, something. Sanding away, do, like normal, blah blah. I had the tunes jamming in my headphones. I was all happy. I actually didn't even mind sanding, and I went to change from I don't know 120 to 150 or 220 or whatever. And just as I was changing, put the thing down, the phone rang, and I talked to my brother for like 10 minutes. And when I got done with the phone call, I picked up the sander and started sanding. And I'm sanding, and I'm sanding, and nothing's happening. And I'm like, you dumbass. And I looked at the sander, and there was no sandpaper on it. And I kind of sanded the Velcro off the bottom of this, which really is kind of annoying because this is actually a new pad. Like every like 6 months, I just put a new pad on these because the edges get worn out, and they're cheap. They're like $5 generally. I think I just paid 8 for them um, to get them quick on Amazon. So I have to change this bottom pad because the Velcro is like almost gone. It was kind of worn out anyways. The middle was all worn out. I mean, this one's I've been using a lot. It's not that old. I thought I had another one, and I cannot find it anywhere. So, needless to say, I had to order new ones yesterday, and I believe that's a T20, if I remember correctly. It's either a T20 or a T25. It's got to be a T20 because I just grabbed a. What is this? This is a T2. It doesn't say. I can't read the 0 or the 5, but I'm pretty sure it was a T25, and this is a T20. Yep. So yeah, I mean, there's still Velcro here, but it's not great. It's kind of annoying because the pad itself is actually still pretty good. But the one thing I did want to do is the stock unit is a 5-hole pattern vacuum hole, and most of the sandpaper I get now are 8-hole because that's more common. You can get 5-hole, but most of them, all the DeWalt's and Bosch's and the newer Porter cables, most of them are all 8-hole now for the vacuum hole. Come on, baby, that was a tight one. So the stock for this, if you just order a stock replacement, if you play this is a Porter cable 333, 333. It's kind of old. When was this thing made? I'm gonna say like 2000. Does it have a year on it? It is a real Porter cable. It's not a new Porter cable, which is why it still runs because it's not a Black and Decker Porter cable. It's a Porter cable. Porter cable. Ooh, I might need a new belt. New belt. Ever seen the inside of a random orbital sander? Still in good shape. Needs a bath. I should clean it while I got it open. I'm gonna. Should have bought a new belt while I was at it. Not that one's not bad, but it's not good either. Take a toothbrush to it. So, anyways, I had to order some new pads, and I ordered a stock one knowing it fits, and I ordered an 8-hole hoping it'll fit. And the pattern is supposed to be right, but you know how that is with this Amazon crap. I mean, they're only like $8. And yes, believe it or not, window cleaner for caked on sawdust is really good. Everyone will tell you use like WD-40 or some nasty chemical. Window cleaner works just as good, if not better. Doesn't smell as bad. Doesn't leave as much residue behind. And does just as good of a job cleaning sawdust. You know, like you get that caked on sawdust that won't come off with just a toothbrush. If you know what I mean. Should take the head right off, but I'm not gonna. Because it looks like the fan's got some gunkies in it too, but not happening. What is up, Mr. Poole? Everyone's over on Twitch, Steve. Or most people are on Twitch. I think you and Chris are the only ones on YouTube. Not that there's a lot on Twitch either. I'm going to get another roll of paper towel soon. But anyway, so I got to put the new pad on here. And I bought some 6-hole or 8-hole over the 5 vacuum hole, which supposedly will work better on this. Though, if you look at like this foam here, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but this is actually designed. This is where the vacuum port is. It really only vacuums as each hole passes right here. And this foam kind of seals against the head here a little bit. So if you think it's vacuuming all the time from all the holes, it's not. It literally only vacuums from one hole at a time as it. Wow. This thing's like falling apart. I mean, it is old. I wonder if I can tighten that up. Because it shouldn't be doing it that bad. It's not supposed to be perfectly tight, but that's kind of wobbly. Oh well. This thing is ancient. I've had this thing since, I'm going to say like 99, 2000. I'm just guessing. I can't remember exactly when I bought this thing. This is literally the second random orbital sander I've ever owned. I had a DeWalt, and then I had this. That's how long I've had this. Actually, I shouldn't say that. It's the third one because my grandfather gave me one when I was like 18. It didn't last very long. It was some, I want to say Walmart brand, but Walmart wasn't around then. It was a Barker's or Bradley's or something. All right, that's better. The foam's still in pretty good shape considering how old this thing is. Vacuum foam. There he is on Twitch. Everyone's on Twitch. Thank you. Yes, you'll have an ad or two, but then I'll make my 10 cents. Help pay for this. Anyway, so I bought. I spent $20. I'm not going to throw this out because it still does work with some. The other thing is I use these 3M sandpaper, which are really awesome. If you look, that's like a really old piece of sandpaper. You can tell it's all beat up, and it looks brand new. This 3M stuff, they say it runs forever. It does. As long as you run a vacuum so it stays clean and doesn't cake, it will run forever. So anyway, I bought a 5-hole stock, and I bought an 8-hole replacement. They're pretty much the same thing. It's just one's got 8 holes and one's got 5. The only thing I got to check, and I haven't yet, is to make sure the hole pattern lines up, and it does exactly. So That should work. This looks like it's a little bit smaller bolt size, but I don't care. I'll make it work. But I will hang on to this because it does still grab um, the cheaper. It seems like the cheap brands, like this is Harbor Freight crap sandpaper, which actually works pretty good for the 80. That's all I really use it is the Harbor Freight crap for is the real rough 80 grit. And they had the cheap stuff seems to have like a bigger loop, if that makes sense. Where the expensive stuff like this that are made to go with like the real high end um Bob, Zachary, how's it going guys? Zach, everyone's over on Twitch. I just started the YouTube so everyone would know and you can go over to Twitch. Not that you have to, it don't matter. Um where was I? These have like a tighter hook and loop than the cheapo stuff. So like this doesn't stick to it. It doesn't. And of course, now I say that it's gonna stick, but it doesn't. Like you'll be sanding and it'll just keep sliding off, which now it's gonna stick. This is supposed to be worn out. That's why I'm replacing it. Oh well. I want the 8-hole anyways for the $7 or $8 it cost me. Anyway, what's up, Dum Dum? Everyone's over on Twitch, Dum Dum. um, yeah. So I bought some pads because I was sanding without sandpaper for like 20 minutes. Couldn't figure out why it wasn't actually sanding. Because don't pick it up and look at the sandpaper that isn't there. Wonder why you're not sanding because dumbassery. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder how dumb I am. But the other thing is, and this has a better grip. They also make these, which are super softy pads. New Rockler 3 miles away from me. You are. Oh, I'm so jealous. But the stock pads are they're rubber, but they're a hard rubber, which is great for like doing edging and stuff. But I really wanted to try the soft rubber because they actually smooth better. And I'm also going to 8-hole, which I don't know if it'll work with this sander or not. It's supposed to. Oh, yeah, dumbass. I forgot to put the belt back on. Not going to work well without the belt. I mean, it'll still work. The belt isn't actually a drive belt. People don't realize that. The belt on this is, it's to keep the random orbital from being overly random, if that makes sense. The pad will just go absolutely bananas if you don't have the belt on there. It doesn't work well without the belt. Okay, which one's still holding? Yeah, this is just like a screw with a guide on it, and the belt wraps around it, and it just keeps a random orbit from being overly random, if that makes sense. Everything lines right up. So this 8-holer should work. I want a rockler right down the street. I'm not. My only problem with rocklers is they're so overpriced with some things. But I like the convenience of rockler. Put it this way, it could be cheaper at Home Depot or Lowe's, and I would go to rockler if there was one around here. I think the closest one is in like Middletown, or I think it's almost closer to go to freaking Boston. It's like 2 hours away. No, I think there is one in Middletown, which isn't that far away. But anyway, so I got these softy pads, and I got a stock new one, and I still have the old one, which does grip, but you start sanding and it just doesn't grip well. And I want to try these softy pads, and they're just a clip-on pad. And then you put the actual sandpaper on there, and now it'll stick. Plug it in, watch it go round and round, just for the shit of it. Plug her in, plug her in. It's so loud! What's up, Mikey? It is Mike, right? It looks like Mike from the picture. I think I'm going to like the softy pad, even though it makes it even taller. It's softy. Alright. One thing down. Sander rebuilt. Let's take this thing here apart. This is... I might need that in a minute. Let's hide these over in the drawer. Let's put the really disgusting toothbrush away. This here thing is a thought for a chessboard, actually. And I was originally trying to think of, because I really wanted to do it out of the cedar for the look. I was trying to think of what other wood, because you're supposed to have opposing, a dark and a light wood for a chessboard. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to use any opposing wood. I am going to carve it out thin and use resin. And I'm going to use a semi-transparent so it gets a little darker, but you can still see the cedar through it, like I have been with all the clocks and crap for the most part. If you ever look at my sign, which you can't see behind you, but I have my little llama sign behind me made out of cedar. That I did a light brown logo on, and it looks really awesome, and you can see the wood grain underneath it. Okay, let go. Let go of the tape, matey. I put blue tape to keep otherwise the pipes turn the wood black, and you have a nightmare getting it off. All right, let's put the clamps away. So anyway, I think I'm going to lightly CNC the chessboard into the face of that, and then fill it all with resin. Because supposedly my neighbor's 15-year-old kid has become a kind of really good chess player. I guess he plays a lot. And they asked if I would make him a chess board, checkerboard, whatever, board, for Christmas. So I think I'm going to make one out of cedar, because I think the cedar one will look cool. And I think then I'll make another one, which is more what they were probably expecting out of like maple and, walnut and a classic hardwood board, and let him choose which one he wants. This is pretty flat, which I was hoping it would be. This side's actually somewhat finished. So I should be able to just get rid of some of this gluey glue and leave it alone for now. Carve this side, which is rough, but that's okay, because I was thinking, I'll plane it I was gonna plane it. I can't run it through the planer. It's bigger than the planer is. Um, but I can flatten it on the CNC. But I can flatten it and then pour resin. I'll have to flatten it again. So this is not. Yeah, I mean, it's just rough. It's not like bumpy, like multiple heights. It's actually better than I thought it was gonna come out. There's very little variation in the seams. So I think I can clamp this down, carve this the chessboard into it, pour the resin, and then just flatten it all in one shot and not take as much cedar off, which is the plan, because this actually came out really, like, amazingly flat. There's a little bit of a lip there and a little bit right here, but it's like barely fingernail height. So if I clean up this side a little bit so it's nice and flat on the CNC machine, which I shouldn't have a problem with, I can carve this side, pour the resin in it, and then just flatten this side, because this needs, you got to back it with plywood. You have to back a chessboard with plywood. Or multi-layer it, because they tend to warp, because you have the checkers. Now, this might not as much because it is a panel. Normally, you have, the alternating woods that are all glued together in the little 2-inch squares. Yeah, it'll go nuts gyrating. That's exactly what it'll do. Let me scrape at this and get some of the glue off. Where is my scraper tool? It's around here somewhere. It's over here, ain't it? Where is it? Where are you, baby? Right here. This has worked out really well. This is my father's old gasket scraper. I can't tell you how many head gaskets I scraped off the engines with this thing back in the 70s. My uncle owned a garage, like a real life gas station garage back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And me and my father used to go and hang out there. I was always into cars. I used to build dragsters when I was a teenager. I used to race dragsters when I was in my 20s. For a short time before literally I got my car finished, my first real dragster, my Camaro, and all custom built, 3 years building it. And the guy who that owned the drag strip up in Colchester died, and his kids were like, dragsters suck, they're just noisy, we're going to sell the property and turn it into condos. So it shut down like 6 months after I finished the dragster. So I had to convert it back to a road legal car and drive it around for about a year before I crashed it at the end of my driveway. But anyway, that's another whole thing. But yeah, I used to, with my uncle owning the garage, me and my father used to rebuild motors all the time, just for the fun of it. My uncle would have like, this is a good motor, it just needs this, this, and this. If you guys want to take the block and rebuild it, slap it in the car. We were like, oh, okay. So this thing's been around since like the 70s or earlier even. And I have a feeling my father had this before that. Although not really, because we moved into this house in 1970, and before that we rented. So we got this when we moved here. There was no garage here. This is all woods. There's actually, my father's boat is buried underneath this floor. My father had a little wooden 18-foot, I don't even know what the hell you'd call it, like basic everyday motorboat. You know, you put a little 30 horsepower lake boat, I guess is what you'd call it, that we used to tool around in the Rogers Lake, which is right up the road. We used to live right next to Rogers Lake back then, before we built this house. And then we built this house when I was a little kid, and Dad brought the boat that was kind of not watertight anymore, so we had to get it out of the rental yard, and it kind of sat here and rotted and became a flower planter for a while. My mother was growing flowers in the bottom of it for a while, and it was on the edge of the woods. And then when we built the garage, they dug the footings, and the backhoe operator's like, "What do you want to do with the boat?" I said, "Just drive over it, crush it in the ground." Like, okay. So we just drove it into the ground, and we, like 2 years later, because this was a dirt floor for a while, we used to drive on the boat. It's in this bay. My father used to park on his own boat. We just poured the floor right on top of it. I poured another inch or two of crushed stone on top of it and poured the floor. The floor didn't get poured for like 2 years after we built it. I think that's pretty good. That came out better than I thought it was going to. So what's everyone else doing on this Wednesday night? This is going to get loud because I'm going to sand and vacuum. Where is the vacuum? And you know what? I'm going to actually put my apron on because it is very nice for keeping the sawdust off my clothes. And when I go inside, I'm not dragging the sawdust with me. Not that it's perfect, but it certainly lowers the amount that get on my pants and my shirt. Except for it always like twists up. It's kind of annoying. I need to get a better one. But this was like a $15 Amazon. I did this as a test to see if I'd even like a freaking apron. And I really don't like this one, but it sort of works. It keeps them cleaner. Alright, now we need a vacuum. It's already plugged in, as I just briefly found out by accidentally hitting the on switch. Alright, it's going to get loud for a minute. I really need to put a heavier duty paper on here because 150 is not the right one for grinding that down. That's kind of a shot piece of 80. What else do I have here? Do I have another? This one's slightly used. And look, the holes actually line up now, which is what I was hoping for. Before, I'm using all 8-hole instead of 5-hole, and you only get like one hole that lines up and another two that sort of half line up. You know what? I really don't want the softy. Holy crap. This won't come off now. Holy crap. I was hoping this would be semi-removable, but this doesn't want to come off. Holy shit. Alright, take the soft pad off and put the use the regular hard pad because I'm not trying to do final sanding. I'm trying to flatten so the nice flat surface will be better. What's up, Ryan? Long time no see. Nah, it's not too late. Good enough. Vacuum definitely works better. That's a nice clean sheet of plywood. So yeah, that worked. Hope I didn't dig the edge of it at the end there. I got tired of waiting and I started bearing on the edge. And that's how you actually destroy these. That's how I usually destroy these. Is you go and dig at the edge to make it cut a little faster. But it's not digging at the edge that actually hurts it. It's the heat. It generates more heat right on the edge, and it actually melts the Velcro if you do it too much. It's definitely a better freaking Velcro than the old one. The old one, I could barely freaking get it to stay on there. This one grabs right on. It is brandy new, and it lines up to the holes. Ugh. Okay, get out of the way. So that's actually the bottom. This is actually the top. Which again, I'm not going to worry about sanding because I'm going to CNC it. It's flat enough that as long as I get close enough, I can CNC it, fill it with resin, and then clean it all off in one shot. So I'm only, because this is thin. This is the aromatic closet liner crap. It's really thin, and then I can laminate it to a sheet of plywood, which I might do beforehand. I might actually laminate it to the plywood before I even run it on the CNC. I don't have the pattern finished. I was working on it today for how I'm going to cut it. Because not only am I going to cut the squares, but I think I'm going to cut a line because the bit of the CNC is round, so you don't end up with actual squares. You end up with little rounded corners. But if you run a line between all the squares, then it makes it so you can have a square edge. That makes sense. And this is bigger than the whole thing's going to be. You can see the pencil lines right there. So I should be able to clamp it down, set that as the center, cut it, fill it with resin, level it on the CNC after the resin's cured, cut it, laminate it to plywood. I may laminate to plywood before that. Still debating. I do think it'll look cool though. It's a nice piece of cedar. I mean, that's kind of what it's going to look like. Except for this side has more white in it. Although I don't know if I actually want any more white in it. Where you're already coloring it, that might actually look better with just a little spits. Don't forget you lose about 2 inches all the way around it. So you really only have this one strip and a few tails here and there. I might just do that. Because I kind of like the red. I like cedar. I just like cedar. It smells good too. Too bad you guys can't smell it because this aromatic cedar smells awesome. And I can smell it from sanding it. Maybe I'll make this the top. Now that I just sanded it to be the bottom. I have to sand the bottom so I have a flat surface on the CNC to attach. So it lays flat. But it is a nice panel. Came out better than I thought it was gonna. Came out better than Fix 'em Dude's frickin' clock did originally. This is the same thing as Fix 'em Dude's clock. I just didn't use plywood on the back. I used a piece of I don't even remember what I used. I think I used a piece of redwood that I had laying around. I don't even remember. It is flat though. I need to re-wax my cutting board over here. I have a couple cutting boards. I might as well do that now since I'm out here. This needs a coat of wax. Look at this baby. This sucker is gorgeous. And it's big. This is being given as an anniversary gift. It's their, I don't know, what is it, 5th year or 6th year or whatever the wood year is. It's a wood year anniversary. And she wanted, her husband does a lot of, her husband won't even let her in the kitchen and touch any, he's got like fancy knives and, but all his cutting boards are like 100-year-old crap. I mean, they're not crap, they were actually really good cutting boards, but they're just old. And she's like, that's perfect. So it's really pretty. And it's got walnut and maple and purple heart and cherry and wingay. And then I banded the edge with Paduke, which is this bright orange, more walnut and more maple on the bottom. And in the whole 9 yards. Yep, she's pretty. She needs another coat of wax. She's already had 2 coats of oil and 1 coat of wax. But I might need to get more wax. Do I have this is the thinner wax or is this the harder wax? Nope, this is the thinner wax. I use a thinner wax for initial coating. Yep, that's the thinner wax, all right. And I think I'm going to get a new rag, which I have right here. Right here. I have a couple of charcuterie boards that need a coating, which I was going to put on the website. And a person who special ordered a cutting board before, I need another thing because it's going to tip over rubbing. Need another little painter's point. These are TPU. They're all flexible so they don't put marks in the bottom of the cutting board. Actually, they still do a little bit, but I should do this way first. That's empty. Second coat. Pretty. Every coat just makes them look so much better. Something about the Purple Heart, the color pops like with the oil, but it doesn't when you apply it. I mean, a little bit pops out. It seems like the next day the purple really turns purple. Because when you first cut it, it kind of turns like a gray. It's not really purple when you run it through the saw. But after it's exposed to the air for a while, the pigment comes to the surface and really pops it. But it seems like the oil like makes the pigment bleed back up to the surface even more. I don't know how to describe it because it always seems like the next day it's more purple. I get the whole window in there that I can't see. This sucker came out really, really good. This is like the first one I actually took to, I think I sanded this all the way to 400. Normally I stop at like 150 because oil and wax makes it not smooth. It makes it slimy at first till it absorbs, but it's not really smooth per se. But this is like really smooth. So I think I'm going to be doing them this fine from now on. Second coat. Rub it in. And I don't even, with this, I don't even take it off. Normally I let it sit and then rub off the excess. But with a brand new board, I rub it on and let it sit overnight and just soak it in. Usually it's bone dry by the next day. And I just keep reapplying until the next day it's kind of greasy. Then I buff it off. But yeah, I made these two over here. And I had a girl who had a custom order I did, I don't know, a month ago or two. Come here, you. Stop dropping on the frickin' floor. I did a custom order for her, and she saw I was doing the charcuterie boards. And actually, she bought it, sort of intending for her daughter to use it. Her daughter, I guess, really likes cooking and everything. Her daughter's going to college this year. You know, she's a teenager. And she's like, oh, my daughter will love it. I'm going to make her this cutting board that she can use when she cooks for us because she likes to cook for them. Well, I guess her daughter took off to college with the cutting board. She's like, ooh, I want a charcuterie board for myself. And she saw one. She goes, I really like that one. Don't put it on the website because I was talking to her when I was actually posting everything on my website. So like, I really like that one. Don't put it on the website. I'm going to come get it next weekend. And then she had some family issues with her daughter's car, trying to come home from college for the weekend, and the car died, blah, blah, blah. She couldn't get here. Like, that's fine, next weekend. Because she's just going to come pick it up. She only lives 2 towns over. And I was like, oh, by the way, I got these two. You have your choice. You don't have to have that one. She goes, oh, crap, I want them both. Can I have them both? I'm like, yes, you can. So she's actually taking this one and the other one that I'm getting ready to put a second coat on. She's like, I like those even better than the one I chose. Can I switch? I said, sure you can. You can do whatever you want, girl. She wants this one. Also, this one's more like a cutting board. It's really fat. It's really fat, like. It's really fat, like. Rub it in, rub it in. Everyone's left, it seems like, because I only got one viewer still, which wouldn't surprise me. Because this is kind of boring to watch, I would think. Even though I actually like watching it. When other people are doing it. Because then I'm going, I'm not doing that. Ah! Oil it up. This one's pretty. Just pretty. We're pretty. Nice thin wax. So it soaks in the first couple of coats. Impregnates the wood. Seals it up nicely. So yeah, she's taking both of these boards. This is just fine by me. This one's got some pricey wood on it. Probably the wood costs more than what I'm charging her for, to be honest with you, but that's alright. It was kind of more of an experiment. So at this point, I don't care. If it goes away and I can get more wood with it, I'm okay. Because it was an experiment. Experiment, man. Oily rag. Painter point. Crap on my hands. The good thing about that wax, this is a natural beeswax and food safe mineral oil. And if you didn't know, that's what chapstick is. Chapstick is just beeswax and mineral oil. They add some other crap for flavors and stuff, but literally most lip balms are just beeswax and mineral oil. And it's actually good for your skin, especially someone like me that's always got dry skin from working with the wood. So there's that. And that's done. And that's done. What time is it? I've been going at this for almost an hour. Almost. There's a whole 3 people now. Is there anyone actually there? Is there anybody out there? What else do I gotta do? That's actually what I want to do, was just do this. I kind of want to run the CNC on this. I'm about ready to go inside and finish the layout, which I need to bring a bit in so I can measure it. and put it into Fusion so I know what size it is. Because dumbass me, another oopsie, rebuilt my computer this weekend, past weekend ago, whatever it was, not too long ago, and saved everything except for my Fusion profiles. So I lost all my bit library. And of course, I saved it local, not on their cloud. So when I wiped my hard drive and installed the new OS, it went bye bye. Because the new Mac OS came out, and I was playing with a lot of websites and software and plugins. And if you don't know, when you do a website, you buy like plugins for the website, but some of them actually install a plugin on your computer so you can tie the, you know, web cart, your shopping cart software to your computer, and it was just a bunch of crap. And the computer was kind of getting weird. It wasn't really slow. It was just things weren't acting normal. I don't know how else to describe it. It just seemed like it was lagging a little bit and doing weird things. And so it's like, you know what? It's perfect time. The new iOS is out. It's been out for a week. No one's bitching about it too heavily. I'm going to wipe my hard drive and install the new OS from scratch and delete all that crap that I installed over the last 6 months. So I did. And I think I got everything but my Fusion files. I mean, it's all in the cloud, so the actual files are still there. The only thing I lost were like the library of bits I have for the CNC and the actual CNC profile, and I had to rebuild that. All the post processing crap, and that was a half a day of rebuilding. It was pleasant. So there's that. I turned the heat on in here. It's only at 65 degrees, but I can already feel it's warmer now than it was when I walked in here. Partially because I'm working, so I'm getting warm. But it's definitely warmer in here. The boards are done. This is ready. It's almost 9 o'clock. I wonder how long it'll take to run that. I'm guessing it's like a half hour, 45-minute cut. Because it doesn't need to be super spectacular because it's just going to get resin. Although I kind of want it neat because I'd like to make it semi-transparent resin. I'm trying to think of another way I could do it. I almost want to like hand carve it if that makes sense. So it's got like that look underneath. I think that would be cool. Oh, who knows? I have so many ideas. John Mack, what is up, my friend? How is life? I might want to hit you up, John. Can you make me a bib, an apron? How hard would that be to do? You guys still doing that kind of stuff? Once I figure out exactly what I want. This is a $15 cheapo. I just bought it to see what I wanted, but I really want all this stuff like at an angle. And I want the pockets at an angle because that's where my hands go. Chris, who? Chris Warkaki or Goata or yeah, I want a new apron. I'm not ready yet because I haven't decided. I bought this one to feel it out, decide where I want it, everything. But I think I'm pretty close to figuring out because I want my little baby speed square to go here, and then the pencils. But I want them at an angle from the left side because I'm left-handed, so I want to be able to. This going like this is like annoying, and there's no place to put this even. And the pockets are pretty nice, but they're too. I want them like this, from the side, so you just naturally reach in and grab whatever you put in your pocket. But again, I think this was $15 on Amazon. It was just to see if it'll um, keep my clothes clean. Tired of doing laundry every day. I come inside and I got a pair of pants and a t-shirt that I gotta wash because I can't even like half the time I undress like right at the door because I don't want to carry the sawdust and crap into the house. Yeah, it doesn't. I was actually thinking it would be cool if it was old blue jeans, like literally old blue jeans, like a pair of blue jeans, and like stitch it together. It could be random, whatever. The only problem I see is like I don't want seams going in certain areas because then that seam's rubbing on you wrong. But other than that, I don't give a crap. I think like an old blue jean sewn together a pair of pants would look freaking cool. Oh, you just put this logo on an Amazon one? Yeah, no, I want a nice new one. This is okay, but it's just like cheap when it's stiff. I actually don't want it quite so stiff, which is why I'm thinking blue jeans would be cool. And totally different shoulder straps. These things totally suck. They're like I can feel it on my back. They're all twisted, and I can never straighten them out because you can't get your hand back there. They're always screwed up, like cutting into my back, even like right now, because they're all twisted up, all backwards. But whatever, something a little better quality. I could just buy one, but I'd rather have a custom made one that's like really cool. I'm seriously thinking blue jeans or something similar would be awesome. Like literally take some old pants that are ripped and torn and cut the legs off and make an apron out of the legs kind of deal. I'm trying to think if I have an old pair of blue jeans with a like hole in the knees or something. The bottom's frayed out. I could cut up. And one was thinking I might actually make one myself. I know that sounds ridiculous because I can't sew or shit, but I could make one myself just again to lay it out and then like fold it up and just ship it to someone that knows what they're doing that can reproduce it in a quality product that's gonna last more than a day or two of my sewing. But yeah, I definitely want this in there. But I want it. This is stupid. I can't get to it, and it doesn't really hold it. And the same with the pencils. Like the pencils, for one, they're too tall, and I lose the pencil in there all the time, and I can't get it out. They need to be like an inch shorter, and I want them at an angle. So, because that's your natural arm movement, to just go and stick it in there. So it needs to be like at a 30 or 40-degree angle. Same with this, and just kind of go down like a pencil, a pen, a square, and that's about it. Tape measure. Everything else I can go get. Yeah, no, no, nope. I'm not gonna go get a sewing machine. I have there's like two $10,000 sewing machines in the house. That would be dealing with my mother, and that ain't happening. My mother is. I'd be like, Mom, I want an apron, and it would be 4 months of, well, if you do this and you do that, she can't just do it. She has to overthink it. That and she can't really use the sewing machines, which is why they're just sitting there now because her hands aren't strong enough anymore to do the work. She's got a embroidery machine like you did my thing. She's got one you like plug a USB stick into and it'll it looks like a regular sewing machine, but it's an embroidery machine. She has all that crap, but she never uses it because for one, she's like, you got to show me how. You use a Cricut. I got a Cricut too, brand new, still in the box. It's like 10 years old. She bought it, doesn't know how to use it, can't figure it out. We're all supposed to just like I'm supposed to learn how to use it so I can show her. It's like, Mom, you can just learn to use it. I don't know anything about it either. Yeah, I just don't have the time to deal with her. I have to deal with her on a daily basis. That's just one more thing I'm just not dealing with. That would mean having to either get the machines out of the basement because they're all in the basement right now, and she can't go down there anymore because her legs have gotten that bad. But she's living in the living room now. Yay. Um, which is majorly annoying because she's deaf and cranks the TV up to like 900 volume. Plus, she talks to herself out loud, worse than me, very loud over the TV. So upstairs, I can hear her full conversation over the TV with herself. Yeah, I'm not. I'd rather just like have somebody else do it. I'll trade you. You do it, and I'll send you a really nice cutting board. Rather do a trade than try and learn. I got too many other things I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to learn this whole website crap that's just like got me brain fried with all the little. You can't just set up a website. You have to have the cart and the thing and that and the what you call it, and you got to add this and another plugin and pay for this and pay for that and learn this and SEOs and CEOs and DVDs and BGBs and SDKs. I just want to come out here and make pretty wooden things and then you sell them. I don't want to deal with all that other crap. I'm too old and tired for all that crap. But that's what I was doing today. I wasn't feeling good, so every like half hour I started to get feeling better. I go sit down on the computer and I do some SEO crap or CEO search SEO, yeah, search engine optimization for the website, where you basically just um, put it in there. No, I didn't use Wix. I actually used Squarespace. I did like six of them. I did Squarespace, Wix, um, Ship for Shop, Shopify, BigCommerce, and something else where it was just a website and you had to code it, and they all just bugged out on me. The easiest one to deal with was Ship for Shop, or the cheapest one is actually Ship for Shop, Shift for Shop, like shift your car. Um, yes, it is more expensive. It's way better. um, not that it's way better, but it's actually saving me money because it does everything. Wix does a lot. Wix would have been my second choice probably. Um, it's really not that much more expensive to get everything I got. It's only $20 more a month with with Squarespace, and it's just way easier to deal with. Um, Squarespace is just way better set up, has more features just built in. It's like every little thing you added. Wix wasn't as bad as like Shopify. Shopify is just ridiculous. It's like, oh, it's so cheap. It's like $15 a month for Shopify. Yeah, but then you have to pay for the cart, which is another $20, and then you got to pay for your credit card app, which is another $20 a month, and then you got to pay for the actual credit card setup, which is another $50 one-time fee. It just, I was getting nickel and dime to death on Shopify. I said nope. Um, the cheapest one is Shift4Shop. They charge you zilch. The whole thing is zero cost, and they state it right up front. Their big thing is literally for someone like me, which would have been great, which is why I pushed that. I worked on it for almost a month. Um, they don't charge you anything. They have the templates, they have the website, everything's there. Their templates absolutely fucking suck. Half the stuff is broken. You can't edit anything. You have to go in and do actual web code. And I'm not doing that. I could have gotten a super cheapo site for $15 a month and done freaking WordPress and But again, with WordPress, you get all the plugins you need, the shopping cart plugins, which are all $15-$20 a month, blah, blah, blah. Shipper Shop was the cheapest. It had the cart, it had all the software, it had everything there. They don't charge you a dime. Yeah, they charge you a heavy credit card per transaction fee. The thing is if you're not doing any transactions, you don't get you don't get charged. So for someone like me right now, where I'm not doing a lot of business, it's actually cheaper because if I literally do like one or two transactions, yeah, I'm paying a little bit more per transaction, but I don't have that flat monthly fee. So coming up to Christmas, I'm hoping I can do some sales, but after Christmas, the $70 a month of Squarespace is probably going to really hurt. Where Shifter Shop, if I don't do a single sale during all of January, so what? You're not paying for it. You only pay when someone buys something, and they say that it's cheaper for the startup for that reason. You only pay when it gets used. It's more expensive for someone, like a big business, and they openly say this. They're like, if you're a big business already, you don't want to use our platform. We only charge per transaction. You pay more per transaction, but we only pay per transaction. But if you're doing 10,000 transactions a month, you're going to pay more. Where if you're just doing 5 or 10 or even 50 transactions a month, you're going to save money because you're still not going to hit that $70 a month or $50 or $90 or whatever the website is. So Shifter Shop for a startup is the cheapest. It's the most broken of them all. You have to code. It's just you might as well use WordPress and just screw all their templates. If I knew how to use WordPress, I would have stayed with them and just done a WordPress website through them. Let them charge because then there's no fee. They do your domain. They do everything. Everything's free. You pay for one domain. They give you one free. They give you email free through them with your own domain. It doesn't go through like Google or anything. You have to pay for the initial domain, but they will give you a secondary domain. Like right now, I have Tom Llama Makes, and Tom Llama Designs, all pinned back to my site. They send invoices. They do your taxes, which is the other thing I like about um, Squarespace. Squarespace does the whole tax thing every month. I'll get a tax, I want to say 1099. It's not really 1099, but you get a breakdown, and it's all the profits, and you can actually put right into it, what you spent to make this thing, and like each cutting board can have a cost to make, cost to ship, and it's all broken down. And they email you this file every month, or you can directly import it into QuickBooks, all there on Squarespace. Wix does too, but it's not. Yeah, I had to get Stripe, but that's the other thing. Stripe doesn't cost me anything but per transaction. I had no, there was no other fee to set up, and you can do a lot cheaper. I had to do there's like a $30 one, which would have been enough. I had to jump to the $70 one because I wanted all the shipping advantages. It does all the shipping, spits out a label for me, everything all in Squarespace. Just done. The only downside is I literally when I like add an item to my store, I have to measure it, weigh it, figure out what the box is going to weigh and everything. Figure out what the shipping item is going to be, estimated weight and size, and then enter that into the item. And when someone buys the item, it'll automatically go and say, shipping, it's going to cost this much through USPS, and it links all of them, UPS, USPS, FedEx, whatever they want, it gives them a price. Get the Wise POS terminal for in-store transactions to its Stripe. Yeah, I'm not. I thought about it, and that's the other thing. I can do that through Squarespace. Squarespace will actually give me a Square, one of those little card readers that you like stick on your phone, I guess, or whatever. They'll send it to me for free if I want it. I shouldn't say for free. I have to pay for the shipping, but that pushes me that will go through local transactions. And again, they'll do all my taxes. They'll do all my, and that was the big thing. All they do all the paperwork stuff, and they just send you a file at the end of the month. Then you just poured it into frickin' QuickBooks. I mean, there's still more, obviously, but all the sales tracks and the transactions ends of it. How much you made, how much you put out. You can enter your costs to make stuff right on Squarespace if you want. It's a little confusing. I still haven't figured it out 100%, but yeah, they send me a little thing if I want it. I have to pay the shipping for it, I think. And they have meetings. Like if I wanted to do like instead of live streaming like I am now, I could do a live class, which I can actually do through Squarespace and charge. Like, okay, you want to come to my woodworking class? Um, I'll take 5 people for $25 for an hour. I'll do, personalized. You know, everyone gets on like a. It's not Zoom, but it's like a Zoom call or like um, StreamYards here, but it's on Squarespace, and they do all the financial BS. All I do is type in a date and a time, how many people I'll accept, and how much I'm charging, and Squarespace does all the rest. And again, they do all the taxes for it. They just send you a file at the end of the month, say this is how much you made, this is how much you spent, and this is your final profits. Yeah, it's not 100% there, but it's probably 80% done. Which they're the only ones that do all of that. Wix does some of it, quite a lot of it actually. Just not quite as much as Squarespace does. And a lot of people had problems with Wix. I know a lot of people having problems with Wix. Wix servers are just always down. They were my second or third choice actually. I really wanted to use Shift for Shop or Shop for Shift or whatever the hell it's called. They were the best deal for a startup. Everything's there. They have all the features. You don't pay for anything. There's no plugins. You literally don't pay for anything till you make an actual transaction, which is the cheapest way for what am I going to do? 50 a month, if that, if I'm lucky. I mean, I'm doing about 3 a week now, maybe, and that's all special orders. I literally haven't sold a single thing off the website. Everyone goes to the website and I get a little email, hey, I want this custom one made. um, but yeah, that's about it. Yeah, it wasn't my first choice. Squarespace. I really didn't want to use Squarespace. I was hoping when I took Squarespace, I could just use the $40 tier, like $39.95. Um, but come to find out, it doesn't do the shipping. They set you up in their template for the whole free shipping setup and all that crap. And then when you go to sign up, they're like, "Oh, that's not included unless you get the big commerce version or whatever they call it, the high-end commerce." It's the only one that does the shipping calculator for you. I'm like, "What?" And at that point, I was just like, I spent way too much time to fight over it. I'm just gonna bite the bullet, take the $70. I'm gonna try it until Christmas. If it doesn't work, I'll just dump it and either go somewhere else that's cheaper. At that point, I may just rip the code. I may have somebody we all know that can do that and rip the shopping code, and then I could actually, if I rip the HTML code out, so my website looks as nice and works as nice as I have it now, Um, I'd go back to Schiffer Shop. I don't want to have to do all the coding. And there's no way they have templates. There's just no way you're using Schiffer Shop without doing some coding, like a lot of coding, because their templates just suck. Every time you go to edit it, it breaks. Something doesn't display right. Even if you're just doing the basic visual editing, not even getting into it deep, just doing, changing the background color, and it breaks. Changing the header color, and it breaks. Changing the header layout, it breaks. Just like constantly, everything broke the template. They have really, really terrible templates. And for me, that was important because I don't want to code it. But anyway, we're getting sidetracked from the wood processing here. But yeah, I need somebody to make me an apron once I figure out exactly how I want it. And I'm pretty sure I want to do it out of blue jeans, preferably old worn out ones, all stitched together in a hodgepodge pattern. Because wouldn't that be perfect for me? Hodgepodgey. I need to go back inside and finish designing this in Fusion and bring my palette of bits. I have a whole palette of bits. I need to re-enter all the information on each of them, which I was thinking about just doing one at a time, but I might as well just take it in, do them all, and get it done. It'll take me a half an hour to an hour to do them all, but then it'll just be done, and then I can just come out here and I can design it and say, oh, I need that bit to make this cut, and I can just come out here and it'll be done. I won't have to run it in and out and in and out and grab a bit and measure it and grab a bit and measure it, grab a bit and measure it. I could just fucking have it in Fusion and be done. It'll all be there. On that note, now that I've done everything I actually wanted to do, really all I want to do is unclamp this and fix my sander. The sander's fixed. Not that it was broken. I sanded without sandpaper. So all I really did was buff the Velcro off the old pad. I de-Velcroed the pad. So I bought a new one. And I bought an 8-hole instead of a 5-hole. This comes stock with a 5-hole. I really need to replace this thing. This whole body is just freaking shot. You know what? I don't want to go inside yet. Maybe I'll tear this thing completely down and see if I can tighten up the body a little bit. It's supposed to wobble a little bit. That's how it actually works. Just not that much. That part ain't supposed to move quite that much. I wonder if I can get out without even taking it apart by just taking this thing off. So really, the only wobbling is the outer vacuum head. I haven't had this thing apart in so long. I've rebuilt this once or twice already. Do I have to take the whole thing off? I didn't think so. Well, maybe I do, because the foam's going to screw up. I don't. That's right. It's going to be all nice peeling the foam baffle off. This is one old ass sander. Come on now, you should have disconnected by now. Jesus, there we go. Finally. These two, I've already peeled it off before. Which one? Must be this one because it's peeling right off. There we go. And this should just pop off here. I can't believe how good this thing's still holding up, though. There's literally no play in this head. What year is this thing? Does it even say? For sale, operation, see instructions. Where would be the date tag? I think they still make this, even though it's a different company. Now I almost want to search it on the website. God, this thing's like all tight. I have abused this. I actually took this sander and soaked it with like rust and WD-40 when I reconditioned the top of that. Because when my brother bought that, I don't know if you saw the video where I rebuilt that in the pictures and everything, but that table saw was absolutely disgusting rusty. And I just took this thing with a green Brillo pad on it and just sprayed it with WD-40 and orange cleaners and all kinds of nasty shit. And then I scrubbed the frick out of the top of that. And then I put a wire brush head on here and scrubbed it. So this thing got full of metals and WD-40, and I thought that was going to be the death of it. I was kind of hoping it would be the death of it. I kind of wanted to replace it, and the thing won't die. It just won't die. And the head is really tight. Like I can't move it at all. There's like no bearing slot, which is surprising. And even the random orbit thing is a little stiff, but it's not terrible. It's smooth. It's not grinding at all. It's amazing. It's quite astonishing that this thing is in as good condition as it is. Might as well clean it up while I'm doing it, right? Yes, window cleaner works great for cleaning out wood sawdust. I was saying that earlier. If you weren't here earlier, or if you were here earlier, window cleaner is actually one of the best sawdusty, clogged up sawdust breakdown things. It works really well. And it doesn't leave nasty chemicals and stuff behind, like all the other ones that most people use, like acetone and WD-40 and all those do. And it cleans pretty good. Again, it only really works on caked on sawdust. But it does take it off pretty well. I can't get this in there. Well, I have that'll get in there. I wonder if I can just take a knife and get in there. I don't think I can. There's like a pile of crap right here. There it is. Got it. Actually, I think that was a label. That must have gotten vacuumed up while it was sanding. Clean off all the fins. Maybe it'll be even better. It seems not even that bad. Think how much I've abused it over the years. There is a lot of caked on sawdust though. And actually, even that isn't that bad. Although I don't know, rebuild this. I didn't rebuild it. I did basically what I'm doing now. I just cleaned it right after I did that table saw. So about a year ago, not even. I did that table saw this spring, didn't we? And that's why I want an apron, so I can do this and not worry about dragging it into the house. Literally. That's what I wanted this apron for. Lots of goopies. The goopies extraordinaire. Maybe this will make it pull air even more efficiently, especially now that I got the 8-hole on there. Even though this thing's designed with a 5-hole, I can't imagine the 8-hole not working better and actually running cooler. Well, it may actually pull less air because there's less dynamic pressure. Since a 5-hole would create a higher dynamic pressure or whatever. I don't know the scientific termies, but we'll find out. We will find out. I wonder if this thing would work better in there than the toothbrush. Seems to be. Little wire brush. It's actually getting in the fins a little better. Cleaning them up. I don't know why I'm bothering to do this. It's probably not going to do anything for it. But it makes me happy to clean it now that I got it open. Since I opened it, I might as well clean it, right? Well, even clean in here, even though it really doesn't do any good. I just can't believe this thing's still alive. To be honest with you, I would never say it's the greatest sander in the world, because it's certainly not. But it's really hard to kill. Because I've actually tried killing it. I keep going, oh, I want a new sander, and if this one dies, I have to go out and buy a new sander, and it just won't die. And I mean, it just works. Okay, now my arm's getting tired holding it all funky. One more vacuum out. Oh, I know why that's wobbling. I think there's a rubber gasket missing. I think there's supposed to be a rubber gasket here that I lost or fell apart the last time I took it apart. I forgot about that. I mean, it doesn't really need it. It's just the dust shroud. bobbling around. This is really probably kind of pointless, but it makes me happy to clean it. So I'm going to clean it. On my arm, I did something on my shoulder too the other day, and it's like certain positions, like I just were, feels like I'm giving myself a Charlie horse. Pull a muscle or something in my shoulder. Is there any sticky left that I can actually hold? Excuse me. I'm not going to remember which way this thing goes because it'll only go one way. You don't know until it's too late if you got it wrong. I was hoping I could reverse it initially. That's backwards. This goes on this side. And this goes on this side. There we go. And yeah, I think there's supposed to be a little rubber gasket. If I remember correctly, that's basically disintegrated the last time I took this thing apart. Because it's like old. And it still works. So who cares? And it makes it very loud because it wobbles more than it should. The air dam back on the really need to find a way to, you know what, I wonder if I can make a gasket. I know it's supposed to wobble a little bit because that's part of the whole random orbit thing because of this guide bushing. Let go. I have to look at the parts list because I think I could put a little rubber. There's a pin right here on this. I don't know if you can see it. I think there's supposed to be a little rubber grommet over that because it sits into this hole. Come on, baby. I gotta just get everything lined up. And it's supposed to have a little vibration ability, but not as much rattling. It rattles a lot. Oops, I put it upside right too, huh? Oh well, put it back together. I'll look at the parts list. I'm thinking I can 3D print a TPU bushing. I think I can. Make it less rattly. This thing rattles. And again, I believe it's supposed to a little bit. if I remember correctly, because there's a random orbital stabilizer thing with this belt on it, and it's stationary. It's not even a bearing, it's just a bushing that the belt rides on and keeps it from overly randomly orbiting and just rattling away. But I'm pretty sure this is supposed to have more stability than this. Tomorrow's another day. I don't even think I'm going to finish putting it together. I think I'm going to leave that. Vacuum up all this crap. And I think I'll go inside and look up the parts list and see if I can find the part for that and see exactly what it is. Because I'm pretty sure there's a bushing for this that keeps it from rattling this much. And that should quiet it down too, because this thing's freaking loud. And I would really love to quiet it down some. I just ran over the cord with my chair. So anyway, on that note, let's pick up a little, and then I'm going to sign off because it's already late. It's 9:30. And I kind of did what I wanted to do with this, was test it and see if this actually would fit with the 8-hole, and it does, which is beautiful. So hopefully it'll run a little cooler and draw more air and run the paper cleaner, because there's 8 holes now instead of 5. And it'll actually grip because I haven't sanded the Velcro off yet, like I did the other night. Anyways, since there's nobody left watching, I'm going to sign off. You all have a good night, whoever's left here. It says one person. I'm not even going to bother doing a raid. Later, folks.